live in abject fear of the one that we're supposed to be connected to, because they've told us you gotta walk this tightrope and this line, and if you walk along the line, he's gonna send you to hell. You could live 30 years worshiping and living for him, make one error, and if you die in that error, you're going to hell. What in the name of common sense does that mean? Are you crazy? Why would I even serve him if he's that sadistic and masochistic? I don't need a God like that. And so if I am so focused on staying on the line, I can't fulfill my assignment. But my God is big enough to handle my fault, my strokes, screw-ups, my mess-ups, because he's already prepared for what I might do. He knows what I'm going to do before I do it, and he already made preparation for me before I get there. What follows darkness is light. That darkness is the indicator that light is getting ready to shine. So there it is in Genesis, when darkness was upon the face of the deep, and God in the spirit form moved upon the face of the waters, and then God said, let there be. Because darkness precedes the light. Are you understanding what I'm saying? But he needs the darkness there so that God can move upon the face of the deep, so that the shift can take place. Listen, look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor that shift take place in the darkness. Oh God, y'all didn't hear what I just said. Everybody's not going to see the shift that's happening. They see the chaos, but they don't see the shift. They see all the craziness going on in your life, but they don't understand that underneath the darkness, God is moving in secret. He's moving in quiet. He's moving in the hidden places. He's moving in the cracks and the corners and the crevices. He's moving in places that you cannot see. And when the light comes, they're going to see a new order. Even afraid to dream, afraid to imagine. I'm here to tell you that you are an infinite, limitless, boundless being. Are you willing to do what is necessary to have what you desire?
Thank you for joining us. Please take a moment and like the Facebook page. Subscribe to the YouTube page and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. If you are finding value in these enrichment sessions, please consider supporting this page financially. Your donations allow us to continue to provide spiritual enlightenment, self-exploration, and kingdom knowledge. Also, consider becoming a partner because partnerships have this privilege. As a partner, you'll be able to attend our annual Partners Only Summer Summit, join us for our 6 a.m. virtual daily guided meditation sessions, weekly advanced empowerment sessions, regular prophetic insights and instructions, 30% discount on all Emerge books and merchandise, and a custom Emerge t-shirt. You'll also gain full access to the private Emerge movement community page as well as group chats. Once again, thank you for watching.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Emerge Empowerment Session. I'm your host, Isaac J. Miles Sr., and I am overjoyed that you have chosen to come and share with me this morning. It's going to be a absolutely wonderful, engaging, and a hopefully very robust conversation this morning around the topic that we don't normally hear people spend a whole lot of time on, but it's a very important and vital conversation that I think is important for all of us to have. So I'm glad that you've chosen to be with me. Now, listen, I know everybody's moving a little bit slow this morning because of what happened with Abby over the weekend. And so many people are still a little bit thrown off kilter and discombobulated. So we're going to create a little space for people to get here and to jump onto the live. While we are doing that, I need all of you who are watching me via Facebook, as well as those of you watching on the YouTube channel, to do a couple of things for me. Number one, I need you to share. Share this live on your page, or if you're watching on Facebook, hit the copy link and then share it with your friends in your group chat and send it out to your family, friends, and loved ones. On Facebook, share it on your page, share it in Messenger, share it into the different groups that you're a part of so that they can also join us in this conversation. Please, I'm asking you, it doesn't take a whole lot. It just takes a couple of seconds to hit the share button. Please, if you will, hit the share button and share it with those that you are familiar with and invite them to come and be a part of this conscious conversation. The second thing I'd like you to do is to hit the like button. Or on Facebook, you can hit like or love or laugh or anger. I hope that there's nobody angry or sad. But whatever emoji that you like to use, when you do that, you interact with this video or this live, and that causes the algorithm to push us out even further, and we reach a larger audience. I have probably nearly 5,000 followers at this time, but I understand that all 5,000 of them don't see my posts or see this live. Only a very small fraction of them. The only way to reach all of them and to push this out to them is for you to engage with this platform. So please like and share. And then finally, if you're watching via Facebook, use the tag application. Tag your friends and loved ones and family members. Tag them in the comments. Do so right now, because when you tag them, this shows up on their page and it gives them the opportunity to come over and to join us in this conversation. So I'm going to ask you to please tag, and you can tag as many people as you like. That's fine with me. I've got one friend who tags a multitude of people in the comments every time she comes on.
I would love if all of you would do the same thing, because even if you tag 30 people and 3 of the 30 show up, then that increases our reach as far as this platform is concerned. So please like, tag, and share this live broadcast. And if you find this empowerment session helpful, then you can follow and become a follower and consider becoming an Emerge partner, because partnership has its privileges. We have a very private partner portal where we get into some deeper, more expansive and extensive conversations around different areas that affect our everyday life. And I offer very practical principles and solutions to help you to become the highest and best version of yourself. There are so many different conversations we have in the portal that we would never have out here on the general platform, where everyone is able to just let your hair down, be free, and get and ask the kind of questions that you may not ask in an open forum. It's a great place to come. It also builds community, and you connect with people who are like-minded, and you're able to start building a soul tribe that will support you in your spiritual growth and evolutionary journey. We also offer a annual summer summit that we're getting ready to have right now. It's coming up next month in September, where we'll all come together and get to spend some one-on-one, face-to-face time with each other, involved in a beautiful vacation spot on a resort. And there's food and laughter and fun and game, as well as engaging conversation and personal spiritual growth. And then there are a number of other benefits that come as well. I just highlighted a few of them. So consider becoming an Emerge partner today. I know you would absolutely benefit and enjoy it. Okay, so enough for all of that. We got a lot of ground to cover this morning, so I'm going to try and stay mellow and calm. We'll see how that works out. Y'all know I have a tendency to get hyped. But I'm going to try and stay very mellow and calm and see if we can't cut through all of this information that I'm going to offer you today around our topic, being comfortable in your skin. The subtopic being embracing your sensuality. Being comfortable in your skin, embracing your sensuality. And I want you to understand, and we'll discuss a little bit more in the conversation, that there is a vast difference between your sensuality and your sexuality, although sexuality can be a part of your sensuality and vice versa. That is not the totality of the word. And so we're going to discuss it from a much broader and larger aspect, so that you can get to the place where you begin to feel comfortable in your own skin. I labeled this particular conversation in such a manner because I encounter so many people in real life, IRL, as well as on social media. I encounter so many people who seem to really struggle with being comfortable with who they are. I've noticed that as our society begins to become more and more connected by means of the internet and social media and other social platforms, as well as through television, advertisement, and other types of media, that people are becoming less and less engaged with other people. That we engage from a social media venue or via these different platforms, but there's not real, true human contact and engagement between us. And I suspect from my observation that a lot of that has led to a lot of inauthentic exchanges between us as human beings, and we become almost anesthetized and numb to human exchange, human contact, and if you watch social media, if you're a part of any social media platform, you see so many different quotes and posts and so-called gurus almost promoting the idea of isolation and separatism. And then there are those people, places, and things that almost place a demand on you that you be someone other than who you are. That everyone's trying to tell you that you're missing something, that something is broken, something is wrong, something is out of whack, out of alignment with you. That you need fixing, that you need rescuing, that you need saving, that something is inherently wrong with you. And so that your only hope of ever fitting in or feeling connected or creating community is that you shared those things that have been articulated as being wrong about you, broken about you, and that you put on a mask or began to masquerade and pretend to be someone other than who you authentically are. It creates this sense within people that who you are is not enough, that people might view you as weird or disconnected or out of date, out of touch, or they may view you in some other adverse way. And all you need to do is pay attention and watch someone make a post or statement or video or reel about expressing something really authentic and true about themselves. And rather than a majority of affirming, caring, empathetic people running to the post, what you find is people who don't even know you, don't understand the context of your statement or your presentation, will run to make judgments about you and begin to, they will tear you a new one. They will drag you through the streets, these social media streets, and beat you half near to death by twisting your intent or your words or what you were really thinking. And if you're not careful, people can push you into a corner where you feel like you have to just put your head under the covers and hide from who you authentically are. Being comfortable in your own skin is a state of self-acceptance and inner peace that reflects a deep alignment between your true self and how you present yourself to the world. This concept goes beyond the mere physical appearance, but encompasses your thoughts, your emotions, and your spiritual identity. It is about accepting who you are and recognizing that there is nothing wrong, nothing broken, nothing that needs rescuing about you. That there is nothing that is inherently wrong with you. That you are at your core, at your foundation, good. I know this is probably catching some of you off guard right now because you've never heard anyone say this to you, because usually culture, environment, family, and especially religion is in the business of trying to convince you that you are anything but good, that you are somehow broken or unholy, unpure, unacceptable, that there is something that's missing in you, through you, as you, that who you are is not enough. Everything around us, from our culture, from our environment, our family, and from religion, says that in order for you to be acceptable, in order for you to be okay, in order for you to be enough, there is a demand that you must conform to the ideas or the ideology and the idioms of these particular things, whether it's your cultural or your environment or your family or your religion. Family says that, well, since you are a Miles, this is what's acceptable in the Miles family. If you want to be in this family, we don't act this way, we don't talk this way, we don't live this way, we don't believe this way, we don't carry ourselves in this way. And so the demand is that no matter how you feel, or no matter what is in resident in your soul, what is a part of your intrinsic part of your being, you have to conform. You have to abandon that, suppress that, repress that, so that you can be acceptable in this family. The same is true with culture or with environment. Every culture puts these demands out there. How many of you have heard people say, we're going to revoke your black card because you can't play spades, or because you don't eat collard greens, or because you know some other outlandish reason? Then okay, your black card is revoked. And it's said in some cases jokingly, but the culture has decided that this is what is necessary. This is these are the parameters for considering yourself a part of the culture. And that if you don't fit within those parameters, if you don't follow those guidelines, then you are excommunicated or treated as though there is something that is inherently wrong with you, because Black folk don't act like that, think like that, talk like that, as if we are a monolithic culture, when we absolutely are not. Blackness does not define us. We define blackness. Ooh, let me say that again. That blackness or the culture does not define us. We define blackness and the culture. Whatever we choose to be, because it is undeniable and inextricable for me. I don't have to try to be Black. I was born Black. So trying to be something that I automatically am is ridiculous. I don't have to try and act Black, and I don't have to try and think Black or be Black, because I am Black. Therefore, however I think and however I act and however I carry myself is not defined by my Blackness, but I define what my Blackness is. Are you understanding what I'm saying? And so it is with religion as well. And this is a huge culprit, because every religion, okay, and you hear me often speak specifically about Christianity, because that's the religion I grew up in and the one I was most familiar with and practiced for a number of years. But I have a good, healthy working knowledge of a large swath of the world religions that exist as well. And I have found that every single religion places a demand on its parishioners, its followers, its adherents to conform to the parameters of that religion in order to be acceptable within the religious culture. And they tell you, and this is like the epitome of hubris, to be acceptable to God, or to a higher power, or to Allah, or to the divine source, or whatever terminology is used by that particular religion. They tell you that if you're going to be acceptable to God, you have to conform to these rules, regulations, stipulations, doctrines. You have to follow these rules. You have to be this person. And even if it does not reflect the true character or the true nature of your being, well, too bad. And as a matter of fact, if there are parts of you that don't conform to those parameters of that particular religious ideology, then it's labeled as evil and something that you need to be rid of, that needs to be cast out of you, bound up, that needs to be eradicated from your being, because it does not conform to the religious ideology or the doctrine of that particular organization. And that can cause you to begin to become uncomfortable with who you are, because the demands of the religion says that you have to be the person that the religion has decided is acceptable. And so many people hide in their religious organizations' caves and hide behind their religious mask. It's what I coined the phrase and have popularized the term institutionalized hypocrisy. Institutionalized hypocrisy is when people are forced to begin to live a lie, because and I'm going to use Christianity because, again, I'm most familiar. The church, as it's really originally intended, was supposed to be a place of acceptance, a place of love, acceptance, and affirmation, a place for personal growth and development. There's even a specific principle in James that says that you can build a community where you can confess or make open or be naked and not ashamed about your errors, about your mistakes, your misjudgments, missteps. He says, confess your faults, your mistakes, your weaknesses, your errors, your misjudgments. Confess your faults one to another. Have a community where there's an equal, open exchange and transparency without judgment. And then he goes on to say, when you've made your confessions, when you are in that environment, it is conducive for prayer. Pray for one another. And then he follows by saying, the effectual, fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. People extricate that particular part of the text and just quote that. The effectual, fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much, and then try and apply it to a plethora of things. But within the context of the man who is speaking, the context of that statement is that the effectual, fervent prayer of the righteous is directed toward a community that has elevated and prioritized transparency without judgment or condemnation. He says that in that atmosphere where everyone is free to be exactly who they are, will not have to hide and pretend, not have to be hypocritical. And remember, the hypocrite is not the person who may gamble and come to church. It's the person who gambles, comes to church and says, I don't gamble. Why? Because they have to pretend to be as holy and righteous as everyone else. They have to pretend that they adhere to the particular tenets of that particular ideology. And so they put on a mask and they dance and shout and skip and holler and spit bubbles and jump over pews and fall out and roll and speak in tongues and jerk and quicken, all as a mask, because underneath, in their truest self, there are these other desires and tendencies and isness that exist that they dare not put out in front of the general public, especially amongst church folk, because they will tear you a new one and label you a sinner and send you straight to hell. So this institutionalized hypocrisy reinforces the idea that something is wrong with you and causes you to become uncomfortable in your own skin. I can't tell you how many times I encountered people in the church as a pastor, as a leader, who felt completely isolated and locked in and confined, and like they couldn't be who they really were because who they were didn't conform with the standards that had been set by the church world. Y'all not hearing me. This is the reason why you have so many undercover people in religion, and not just in Christianity, in Islam, in Hinduism, in Buddhism, in every ism, but I'm speaking about Christianity because I'm most familiar with it. It's the same thing in all religions, but there's so many undercover people. The church is the original don't ask, don't tell. People within the LGBTQ plus community have had to play hide and seek within the church for their entire life. And don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I know from experience, because like I said, I was a pastor for over 40 some odd years. I've encountered some of the most gifted, talented, wonderful, beautiful people within the church community that were absolutely a part of the LGBTQ plus community, but they had to hide it when they came into the church and pretend that they weren't, even though it was quite apparent that they were. But if they were gifted and talented and had something to enhance and offer to the church's reach, mission, ministry, then the don't ask, don't tell policy was put in place. We won't ask, and don't you tell nobody. You just pretend like you are heterosexual, and we'll pretend like we don't know that you're homosexual, and the church will just go on. Because if you ever come out and be who you really are, then we got to call you an abomination, and we got to put you out, and we got to isolate you, and we got to strip you of your true, authentic self. Hey, Apostle Pope, good to see you, man. I'm so glad that you're on here, brother. I miss you. I love you so much. I am glad you are here. He says, religion, let me put that on screen. He says, religion strips you of your authenticity. It absolutely, positively does. That's exactly the point that I'm making. At its core, being comfortable in your own skin means embracing who you are, listen to this, without fear or judgment or rejection. Let me say that again. That being comfortable in your own skin means embracing who you are without fear of judgment, rejection, or isolation or condemnation. It means that I'm able to live in my truth and show up as my authentic self fully without fear of being judged, without fear of being condemned, without fear of being rejected and isolated or ostracized by the general community, or specifically the circle of people that are a part of my life, a part of my life. That I'm able to live in my truth. How many of you are involved in not just circumstances and situations, but relationships, whether they be romantic relationships or friendships, where you are afraid to show up as your authentic self, that you are so obsessed with trying to make sure you present yourself in a way that is acceptable to the other person or the other party, that you lose yourself in the process. Come on now. I know I'm talking to some of you that are on this live right now. You become so obsessed, so hell-bent, so focused on presenting yourself in a manner that you believe is acceptable to the person, place, or thing, the situation or the circumstance, the relationship, that you twist yourself in knots and you lose a sense of who you really are in exchange for presenting yourself as the person that will be considered acceptable or okay. You're so afraid that you might lose that person or lose that relationship if you tell them or show them who you really are. And so you go through the whole relationship conforming and confining yourself, trying to become the chameleon so that you will meet the expectations of the person that you desire to be in relationship with. You so prioritized their acceptance and this relationship that you are willing to tear away and relinquish parts of your identity. Just so that you can be accepted by him, by her, by them, by it. And so now you live in a space of agitation and misery and uncomfortableness because you're unable to be who you really are. Or you feel that you are in a position where you have to pretend and offer this pretense of being someone in certain situations, groups, and with certain people, but then you have others where you can be more relaxed and be yourself. Or the whole idea behind code switching. Every Black person on here knows what that is. So that you feel like you have to, in certain circumstances and surroundings, code switch into what is considered a more appropriate language, appropriate attitude, appropriate disposition, appropriate way of being. Try not to anger the powers that be. Don't come across as too aggressive. Don't speak too loudly. Be careful about your word choice because you don't want to offend the powers that be. And so you've learned how to code switch. Come on. In order to fit into what society, the dominant society, part of society, has decided is acceptable. We see it in language. We see it in how we dress, how we wear our hair. Why do we need legislation called the Crown Act in order to be for Black women to be able to wear their hair the way that they want to wear it, the way it naturally grows out of their head? Because society has a white society in this country, and the dominant society, caste system, across the globe sets the standards for what is acceptable and unacceptable. and they tell you who you are is not enough. Who you are naturally, who you are at your core, at your substratum, is not acceptable. And that the only thing is acceptable is acceptable is if you conform and confine yourself to the standards, the regulations, the parameters that we have set that you must obey. If you want to be in our circle, if you want to be able to move up in our company, if you want to be able to rise in this corporation, if you want to be a part of our community, then you must conform. And everyone's demanding and pulling at you to be someone else. And if you are not careful, you will find yourself being pulled apart, almost emotionally and personally schizophrenic and multiple personality disorder, trying to put on and wear a different persona for every situation and circumstance and place and relationship that you encounter. You're having to try and constantly be the chameleon. You develop what I call a market-oriented personality. A market-oriented personality is a person who shifts and changes depending upon the particular setting or situation they find themselves in. They're always with their finger in the air to see which way the wind is blowing, so they'll know what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to act and who they're supposed to be. This describes many of our politicians who pander. That's a whole nother conversation. You know, they come around once a year and decide to do a fish fry, but the whole rest of the year they ain't studying you black. Oh, no, never mind. Okay, all right, that's a whole nother conversation. I'll leave that right there. Okay. From a metaphysical perspective, being comfortable in your own skin is about aligning yourself with your higher self, being your truest and most genuine and authentic self, the part of you that transcends ego and is connected to your divinity. Let me repeat that again. We're talking from a metaphysical perspective. Being comfortable in your own skin is about aligning yourself with your highest, truest self, that part of you that transcends ego and is connected to your own divinity. In spiritual traditions, this might be described as living in harmony with your soul's purpose and your soul's passion. Okay? Finding what your purpose and passion is so that you can live within that space, because that is when you are being your most authentic self, is when you are living within the space of your passion and your purpose, your original intent. See, many times you are forced out of the comfort of who you are in exchange for some of the things that you might desire. Are y'all hearing me? This is why so many people wake up every day and go to a job that they despise, that they hate, that they feel uncomfortable in, that they don't like, but it pays well, and they've got bills and dreams and aspirations, and so they feel chained and locked into this particular occupation, and so they will conform and confine themselves to fit in that particular space, no matter how uncomfortable it is, because they see it as their source and the only way that they'll be able to achieve their dreams. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a side note, but this is very important. May I suggest to you that when you begin to discover or rediscover and uncover what your passion is, your passion will lead you to your purpose. And when you find your purpose, your original intent, your reason for being, the why to your what, then passion and purpose together will always bring about prosperity. Let me say that again. Passion and purpose together will always, 100% of the time, bring about prosperity. If you are in pursuit of living in the space of fulfilling your passion and purpose, prosperity will inevitably follow. It will naturally flow toward you, and you'll be in a space where you can show up as your authentic self, not having to pretend in order to fit in. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying to you? Am I making sense? This teaching is also reflected in various religious traditions, not just one. For instance, the Bhagavad Gita speaks of the importance of self-realization and self-actualization, where one understands their true nature and lives in it, lives in accordance rather with it, leading to greater rest and inner peace. In Christianity, the concept is understood that we are created in the image of God. The Latin is imago Dei, that we are created in the likeness and the image of the all of everything of God. So to be comfortable in your own skin is a embrace of this sense of knowing that all that God is, I am, and all that God I am is God. That I am one with God and God is one with me. That I am the likeness, the image, the reflection. I am the expression of God in the earth. And since God has no blemish, neither do I. God has no weakness, fault, or failure, neither do I. And please let me draw a distinction here. Okay, there's a very huge difference between what you might do and who you are. You cannot define who you are solely based upon what you do or say, because sometimes the things you do and some of the things you say and some of the actions you take do not reflect on who you really are. They may reflect on how you feel at the time. They may reflect on what you are thinking in the moment, but they do not speak to the core of who you are, because who you are is divine. Who you are is pure, righteous, holy, good, acceptable, beautiful, brilliant, creative, sensual, and sexual. That is who you are. Anything outside of that is an anomaly. It's an anomaly that happens situationally, depending upon some of the traumas or other things that you've experienced that now you've internalized, and they begin to now show themselves in behaviors, but they are not a true reflection of your core goodness. Because listen to me carefully, those of you who are on this live and those of you who are watching on the replay. At your core, you are good. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back and the ones hard of hearing, as well as those who have their hearing drowning out their goodness because of the echoes of their past traumas. At your core, you are good. I want you to sit with that for just a moment. I want you to let that marinate, or as little as Country Rain says, let it sizzle in your spirit. I want you to sit in that space for a moment. I want you to even begin to think on repeat, in a loop within your mind. I am good. I'm a good person. At my core, I'm good. I'm good. I'm kind. I'm brilliant. I'm beautiful. I'm smart. I'm giving. I'm generous. I'm empathetic. I am good. I don't care what all of the other voices reverberating in your head say. Those are voices that are echoes from other people and other external influences, other traumas that you've experienced that try and tell you that you are bad, that you are mean, that you are hateful, that you're vindictive, that you're malicious, that you're dumb, that you're stupid, that you're ugly, that you're unattractive, that you are mean. All of that is an illusion, a delusion, and a lie. You are good. Do you hear me talking to you this morning? You are good. I don't care what your mama said, your daddy, your sister, your cousins, your brother, the church, or any other religion or environment or culture has said to you. You are, I don't care if you dropped out of school. I don't care if you got pregnant when you were young. I don't care if you've been to prison. I don't care if you have fallen more times than you can count. You are good. You may have done a whole bunch of bad things, made some bad choices and bad decisions, had some bad consequences as a result of the bad choices, actions, and decisions that you made. But at your core, you are good. I don't care if you are black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, or other. I don't care if you are heterosexual, LGBTQ plus, or if you are from America or another country. You are good. And this one's going to be tough because I know folk are really up in arms at this moment. But even if you are Democrat or Republican, you at your core are good. Some of your actions may not be good. Beliefs may not be good. Some of your values or priorities may not be good, but at your core, you are good. You know what's right. Even if you can't say it out loud, even if you have to toe a particular party line in order to be able to fit within the ideology of your political group or your political corner that you stand in, at your core, at the center of your being, you know what's good, you know what's right, you know what's empathetic, what is kind. You are good. Even though you may be afraid to act on it, speak it, or verbalize it at this moment, you are good because you are a divine reflection of God. You're good because you're God. It's not that you're God because you're good. It's you're good because you're God. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? Every part of you is good. Every part of you is good. So being comfortable in your skin means that you have to learn to embrace and appreciate every part of who you are. And there are so many different moving parts in the identity that is you. But today I want to focus your attention. And I know we spent a lot of time on being comfortable in your skin, but it was necessary to lead to this particular conversation that we've got to have quickly within these next 30 minutes about your sensual self. I am convinced that people are either oblivious, ignorant, or out of touch or out of aligned with their sensual self. And the consequence is the chaotic division that we see present in our society and our global community right now. It's that unawareness or that misalignment or rejection, forced rejection, taught rejection, or sometimes chosen rejection of embracing your sensual self that gives rise to so much malicious anger and pettiness and creates this divide amongst us as spirits being human. It is the taboos that have been attached to the idea of sensuality, that it absolutely demands sexuality. And so it has gotten grouped in with sexuality, which is not incorrect, it is just incomplete. And so therefore has been rejected, especially by those of a religious ilk. And what's funny to me is that, you know, religious people can be the most dogmatic about repressing, suppressing, and trying to eradicate your sensuality and sexuality, yet they are some of the most sexually driven people in the entire world. The very thing that they try and deny and repress is the thing that mostly drives them. You think they are led by the Spirit? They are led by their sensual, sexual selves. And that is what causes them to embrace the idea of conformity and confinement in the first place. Because they want to feel connected, feel accepted, feel loved and appreciated by whomever their community is. So they're driven by the sensual desire. See, you thought it was all sex. It's not. It's about really feeling like you belong, feeling connected, feeling at home and at peace and at rest, feeling that you are tied and there's some synergy between you and the others that surround you. And yet, religion tries to suppress sensuality and sexuality, thinking that they can accomplish what they have decided is a spiritual goal by imposing natural rules and laws. But anybody who's ever grown up in church knows that a whole lot of women with them long dresses still ended up getting pregnant. And there's a whole lot of brothers who wore the loose-fitting suits and no necktie and a collar around their neck were the ones getting them pregnant. Don't nobody want to holler back at me now. There's a whole lot of sensuality and sexuality taking place, even though folk live in that river in Egypt called denial. I couldn't resist that one. And I almost let my tea get cold. It's still a little bit warm, so I got to remember to drink my tea. Okay? Sensuality is the quality of being deeply connected and appreciating the physical and emotional pleasures of life. It involves engaging your senses, that is, your natural senses of touch, taste, smell, sight, and sound, those 5, to fully experience and enjoy the world around you. Sensuality is not just about sexuality, although sexuality is included, okay? It is about a holistic awareness and appreciation of the sensations that life has to offer from the feeling of soft fabric on your skin to the taste of your food, or the beauty of a sunrise or sunset, or the warm breeze blowing off of the ocean or the sea. Embracing your sensual self is important because it fosters a deeper connection to your body, your emotions, and to the world around you. Sensuality involves being attuned to and fully experiencing the pleasures and the sensations that life has to offer through all of your senses. Okay? This is what sensuality is. To be a sensual person means that you are in tune and aligned and comfortable with embracing all and engaging all of your senses and how they are engaged in your world, externally, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. How you connect with your own body, with your own emotions, how you connect with others and the world around you. This is what it means to be sensual and to fully embrace your sensual self. You at your core, at your nature, you are by nature a sensual being. Let me say that again. You are by nature a sensual being. Sensuality is as naturally a part of your being as breathing. Sensuality is as natural a part of your being as breathing. Okay? Now, why is this so important that we embrace our sensual self, that we engage with our senses, that we are consciously cognizant of our senses being engaged in every way? Our external senses, as well as our internal senses, our will, our intuition, our empathy, okay, our imagination, our affections, our desires, all of them being fully engaged and fully liberated to be, so that you're able to fully experience and express them across the spectrum without guilt, without shame, without condemnation, without isolation or rejection, without being considered weird or crazy or any of these other derogatory terms, but to fully embrace who you are and engage your senses as they emanate and demonstrate themselves through the vessel that is you. Okay? Why is this so important? Why is it such a vital and crucial part of being healthy and whole? And it is a crucial part of being healthy and whole, both spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. It is important that you embrace your sensual self. I want to give you a few reasons why embracing this aspect of yourself is so vital. Number one, because of enhanced self-awareness. Connection to the present moment enhanced self-awareness, connection to the present moment. Embracing your sensual self encourages you to be more mindful and present in your daily life. By turning into your senses, you become more aware of your surroundings and how you interact with your surroundings, the people, places, and things. This heightened awareness helps you to appreciate even the smallest, most often overlooked pleasures in life, leading to a greater overall satisfaction with your life. When you become self-aware, when your self-awareness is enhanced through your embracing your sensual self, engaging with your interior and exterior senses, you become more present, more fully present and mindful and consciously aware of the world around you and all of the people, places, and things that are connected to you. You start to become more appreciative of their presence, their function, their purpose in your life. It also, where self-awareness is concerned, helps you to understand your own desires. When you embrace your sensual self, your enhanced self-awareness aids you in understanding your desires. Sensuality helps you to understand what feels good to you. And contrary to popular religious belief, feeling good is not ungodly. It's almost as if the religion tells you anything that feels good is demonic. Anything that feels good is ungodly, is unholy. Anything that feels good, man, unless it's shouting, dancing, speaking in tongues, rolling on the floor, skipping, hollering, and jumping over a pew, then it's evil. And you don't need to be involved. That's the devil trying to trick you and the devil trying to lure you in. That's a spirit. Any and everything that feels good, anything that brings you pleasure, anything that feels good to you physically, emotionally, mentally, then it's labeled as evil. But it's not. And embracing your sensuality fully enhances your awareness to the things that you fully desire, and you start to recognize that these desires are a part of you. They are loaded and coded within your DNA, and they're perfectly acceptable. Your desires are not perverted. They are not inerrant. They are errant, rather. They are not demonic. They are not wicked. They are not lustful. They are not ungodly, impure, and unholy. Because I can hear some of you, I can feel some of you right now who have grown up in religious structure that taught you what you were feeling and desirous of was somehow wrong and unacceptable and unpure. And so you confess that you don't feel it, you don't desire it. I don't have no desire for that. The Lord done took the taste out of my mouth. Come on now. He removed that desire from me. But in the places where nobody can see you, when you're sitting on the side of your bed late at night with your head in your hands, those desires still return and remain there. But you have been trying to repress and suppress them. And what you resist persists. Woo, you might need to write that one down. What you resist persists. The thing that you try and resist the most. You try and repress the most. You try and convince yourself is not there and is not a part of who you are, is the thing that keeps pushing up against your reality and saying, I'm still here. I'll reflect and show myself in different forms and fashions other than the one that is right head on the nose, so that nobody will know our secret, but I'm still here. Or I'm going to still be. And so you start acting out in ways that don't reflect your true character, or acting out in ways that draw attention away from your truest desire. That's the reason why some people are so mean and hateful right now, is because they are afraid to embrace their truest nature, their sensual self. And so in trying to repress that, it comes up as anger and frustration and agitation and meanness. They just mean. And folk would say mean for no reason, but there is a reason. It's because they are living a repressed life, confined and constrained within this self-imposed prison that they've created for themselves based upon the expectations of culture or environment or family or religion. Another reason that this is so important is that it improves your emotional well-being. I'm trying to move through these quickly because I have a limited amount of time. It improves your well-being in what way? One is by stress relief and relaxation. Do you realize how stressful it is trying to keep up a persona, trying to pretend to be someone that you're not, trying to suppress feelings, desires that you have, holding them in abeyance, holding them underneath, trying to keep them in the dungeon of your soul and not allow them to peek out? Do you realize how frustrating, how exhausting it is trying to live in that pretense? Engaging your senses in pleasurable activities such as a warm bath, or listening to music, or enjoying a delicious meal, or doing something else that really brings you pleasure and fulfilling your innate, earnest desires, significantly reduces your stress and promotes relaxation. There is a text in the Bible says, there remaineth a rest for the children of God. Within the context of the text, it was talking about when we become consciously aware of our own divinity and isness, our connection and oneness with God. We stop fretting over all of these little things. We start to recognize that everything is lawful for me, even though everything may not be expedient for me. In other words, there is nothing that I cannot do. Everything is for me. Everything, I can do whatever I want or desire, but not everything that I want to do is always good for me. And so I am then able to be the progenitor and the creator of my own reality and choose to participate in those things that serve my highest good and to exclude those things that don't. But I'm doing so of my own volition, not because a religion or a book or an environment or a culture or a family member demands it of me. It is because I am making a conscious decision for what best works for me. That's the place of rest. That's the place of relaxation. That's the place of a stress-free life. I'm in the place in my life that I wish I had been in so many years ago, because for years, my involvement in the religious world, I expended so much energy trying to present this persona and live up to the expectations of the others and the religion that I embraced. I did. And once I was willing and able to shed that skin of religion, that straitjacket of religion, I was able to step into the liberty and freedom of embracing my sensual self and allowing myself permission to simply be. Without judgment, without condemnation, simply be. With the full understanding that who I am being is acceptable to God, that God's love for me is unconditional. Isn't that something that's crazy? That religion, especially Christianity, speaks of the unconditional love of God and then turns around and says that, but you have to meet these conditions. Because if you don't meet these conditions, then you're not loved anymore. You're not accepted anymore. You're not embraced anymore. You're rejected. You're pushed to the side. You're in danger of going to a torture chamber underneath the earth with the supervisor named Satan, Lucifer, Abaddon, and Apollyon, who's going to torture you for the rest of eternity because you were being who you were created to be. Are you hearing what I'm saying? It also boosts your self-confidence and your self-esteem. When you embrace your sensual self, you cultivate a sense of self-acceptance and confidence, appreciating your body and its capabilities, as well as your ability to experience pleasure. They can lead to a more positive body image, a more positive self-esteem and self-worth. You start to value yourself more when you are through condemning yourself for feeling and desiring the things that you do, for being who you are. When you fully embrace your sensual self, then you give yourself the liberty to simply be who you are. And you become more confident in that person. Your self-esteem begins to soar. Your value begins to soar to new heights. Your self-value, because now you have fully embraced who you really are. And you're not living in the parameters of pretense. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Number 3 is that it also deepens your relationships with people. It enhances intimacy. And again, intimacy is not inextricably connected to sexuality. Sexuality can be included, but it is not exclusive. Intimacy is about your being able to connect with other in an honest, authentic, and transparent manner. Sensuality plays a role in deepening your connections with others, particularly romantic relationships, but in all of your relationships, by allowing you to be more in tune with your own senses and your own emotions. You can better communicate your needs and your desires that fosters a greater sense of intimacy and trust. You should not involve yourself in any relationship, romantic, platonic, friendship, any kind of ship, where you are unable to be your authentic self, to be transparent about who you are and who you are being and becoming, to be able to fully express and experience yourself in the fullest and be present without having to worry about being rejected or condemned. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Yes. And this is what you call authentic connection. This is what is meant by authentic connection. When you are comfortable in your own skin, when you are comfortable with your sensual self, you can engage more authentically with others. This authenticity helps to build stronger, more meaningful, deeper, productive relationships as you are able to express yourself openly without the fear of judgment or rejection. It also is important that you embrace your sensual self because it increases your joy and fulfillment. You find joy in every single moment in everyday things. Sensuality encourages you to find the joy in the simple pleasures of life, such as a warm sun brushing against your skin, or the taste of your favorite food, or the sound of laughter, or the presence of children in your life, if you happen to love children, or the presence of flowers and the smells and the aromas that are released in the air. It allows you to fully engage and connect in them and begin to experience those simple joys and simple pleasures. And you find yourself so excited and enthused and engaged by just the encounter of the smallest and most insignificant thing, rather, that ignites your senses and brings you this outsized, overwhelming pleasure that others may see and look right past, be oblivious to. But because you are free to embrace who you authentically are, your joy is significantly increased and your sense of fulfillment. It also empowers your personal freedom. And I talked about this a little bit already. That when you are willing to embrace your sensual self, you take ownership of your body, you take ownership of your thoughts, your feelings, your desires, and your pleasures, and you do so without guilt. When you are able to take ownership, yes, by fully embracing your sensual self. Embracing your sensual self is a form of self-empowerment. It's about taking ownership of your life, your body, your feelings, your desires, your pleasure, and your own experiences. This sense rather of ownership fosters personal freedom and allows you to live in a way that is true and authentic to who you are. It breaks you free from that whole cycle and chain of shame and guilt and condemnation. Most cultures, especially our culture, place restrictions and judgments on sensuality, particularly regarding the body and pleasure or sexuality. Embracing your sensual self allows you to break free from these limiting beliefs and enables you to live more authentically without shame and without guilt. Imagine what it must feel like to be able to live freely, liberated in your sensuality, in what you essentially feel and desire, what brings you pleasure, excitement, joy, and anticipation. To live in that space and not feel guilty about it. To do those things that bring you pleasure and not feel guilty about it. I know. I hear you. Some of your religious minds are kicking in. Oh, but the pleasures of sin, that's only for a season. They last for as long as you want them to last, number one. And who said that they're sin? It's only an error or sin or misjudgment if it doesn't serve you. If it serves your highest good, then it's not sin. So while it might be sin to someone else, it may not be sin to you. How you like them apples? Boy, my audience done fell off now. It fell off big time. Kind of figured that would happen. That's okay. So how do I express, and I'm done. How do I express and embrace my sensuality? Number one, engage your senses fully. Your touch, your taste, your smell, your sight, your sound. Engage your senses regularly and fully. Touch, explore different textures and sensations. Your taste, savor your food slowly. Appreciate the flavors and textures of it. Smell, surround yourself with scents and smells and fragrances that bring you great pleasure, that interact and interchange with your being and your sensibility. Sight, appreciate your own surroundings and your own outer beauty. Practice looking yourself in the mirror and complimenting yourself instead of criticizing yourself. Hello, somebody. Sound, listen to music and surround yourself with sounds that soothe and energize you, whether it's the sound of water or the sound of birds in nature or the sound of music, certain types of music that move you and awaken all of your senses. Also, how you express and embrace your sensuality is learn to be present in the moment. Learn how to be fully present in every moment. Sensuality is deeply connected to mindfulness. So being fully present in the moment allows you to truly experience and appreciate your senses and all the things that they are offering you. Practice different mindful techniques like meditation and deep breathing in order to help to center you and help you to be fully present. Another way that you begin to embrace your sensuality is to move your body. Contrary to popular belief, you are not created to be a stagnant, sedentary being. You are designed, your body is designed and is most healthy when you are consistently keeping it in motion, when you are moving your body, engaging in activities that make you feel connected to your body, like exercise or dancing or yoga or stretching or, yes, lovemaking. The key is to move in ways that feel good and help you to appreciate your body's ability. That brings pleasure to your human body. Yes, please your flesh. And I am not talking to see flesh as is related to in the Bible. I knew I would trip some of you up with that. It's about carnality as far as thought and mind. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with pleasing your human fleshly desires. Absolutely nothing sinful or wrong. Yes. Yes. Move your body in ways that please your physical body, your fleshly being. Whether that's dancing or yoga or exercising or running or sex, it's okay for you to pleasure yourself. Ooh, that didn't sound good, huh? It's right. Okay. Also, create some small sensual rituals. Incorporate sensuality into your daily routine. This might be doing anything from taking a long, hot, luxurious bath, or lighting, some candles, or using scented oils and essential oils in your bath, like eucalyptus. I love eucalyptus. Lord, I love eucalyptus. Or taking a few moments each day to appreciate your own beauty, to brag on yourself, to look yourself in the mirror and compliment your look, how you feel, how you think, who you are. Tell yourself how beautiful, brilliant, sexy you are, how desirable you are. Talk to yourself. You may as well. Sometimes it's the only intelligent conversation you can have. I'm kidding. Talk to yourself, though, okay? Another way that you engage and embrace your sensual self is by expressing your emotions. This is a difficult one, especially for men, specifically for Black men, because we are taught to bottle our emotions up, that you're not supposed to feel. And if you do feel, keep it to yourself. Shut your mouth. Keep it all down. Keep it all pushed away. Don't let nobody know anything. But if you're going to fully embrace your sensual self, you have to allow yourself to express and experience your emotions. Yes, sensuality is about being in tune with what you are truly feeling and the emotions that those feelings engender. Allowing yourself to feel and to express your emotions fully, whether they are joy or sadness or anger or love. This emotional honesty is a key part of embracing your sensual self. Number 6, dress in a way that makes you feel good about yourself. Wear clothes that make you feel confident and comfortable. Choose fabrics and styles that appeal to your senses, colors that appeal to your senses. Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It matters what you think and how you feel. Wear fabric that feels good against your skin. And then number 7, and very important, practice self-care. Take care of yourself. Take care of your body. Take care of your mind. Take care of your spirit, your soul. This is Soulful Sunday. The focus is on nurturing and nourishing our soul. Take care of your body. When you don't take care of your body, you are destroying the temple, the dwelling place of the divine that is in you, through you, and as you. This is one of the things that that used to have me very curious and intrigued, how the church would put so much emphasis on, don't drink, don't smoke, don't have sex, don't do this, that, and the other. But nobody ever talked about taking care of your temple. They never talked about how many fat folk are in the church. But Lord have mercy, help me. How many overweight and unhealthy people? How many people in the church who have high blood pressure and sugar diabetes and back problems and leg problems and heart problems and heart disease and congestive heart failure and cancer? And come on, we don't ever talk about those things and what we can do to prevent it by simply taking care of the body temple. Guilty. I spent the majority of my adult life abusing my body, abusing it by not giving it enough rest, not giving it enough sleep, not eating the right foods, not exercising in the way that I should, by putting things in consuming things that were going to bring it harm, that I knew would bring it harm, but it tastes so freaking good, and not in moderation, but just an over amount. Come on, church folk. We do everything around food. Everything, every special occasion, we got to have some food. After church, we got to go out and eat food. Everything is done over food. We're going to have a meeting. We're going to have it over food. We're going to talk about this, that, and the other. We're going to have food. We're having a conference. We got to have some food. Everything is around food, food, food. And it's not the healthy food. No. We want fried chicken and collard greens and hog maws. And y'all ain't hollering back at me and pig feet and pig ears and and every part of the pig but the oink, and and it's not just a little bit here, a little dab of moderation. No, it's a whole buffet. Eat as much as you want, all you can eat. Go ahead, knock it out. Matter of fact, we don't want to take none of this food home. Y'all take this food, eat this food. Come on, keep eating. We do it to our children, we do it to each other, we do it to ourselves, with no thought about how it's affecting the body temple and disconnects us from our sensual self. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Okay, I got to end. Man, I've been on for an hour and a half, and I didn't intend to be on this long, but it's a very important and essential, vital conversation that we've had this morning. Y'all were real quiet in the comments, unless they're not showing up on my screen. Very few comments this morning. I hope that means that you were taking it in, that you were listening, and that you were appreciating what you were learning this morning. I want you this morning, as we come to our close, to give some real thought to what I've said to you today. I want you to embrace your sensual self, knowing that embracing your sensual self is a powerful way to enhance your connection to yourself, to others, and ultimately to God. Because every part of you, your sensual, sexual self included, it has its origin in God. So when you embrace that fully, it brings you into closer connection and intimacy with yourself, with others, and ultimately with God within you. I hope you were blessed. I don't hope, I know if you paid attention and listened and followed along, you were blessed and empowered by the teaching that came forth today, by this conscious conversation. I want you to listen to this video again and again, as many times as you need to, so that you're able to digest all. I know it was a lot of information. Digest it all, distill it into your life. I'm going to post all of the notes from this conversation in the partner portal. So if you want the notes, then you need to consider becoming a partner with the Emerge movement, because there you have access to all of the notes concerning this teaching and other teachings as well. I'm going to post the notes there as soon as we go off the air for those partners that are on here, so that you'll be able to write down the notes and study them for yourselves as well. And I want to give you an opportunity to sow into this platform. Listen, I need your financial support, and it's right for you to give it, because if you are being blessed by this platform, and I know that you are, then it's only right that in exchange, you sow into this platform. And in doing so, you not only set yourself up for an exponential increase of return coming into your life financially, but you also help to grow and expand the reach of this platform and promote its mission of empowering people on their spiritual journey to wholeness. And so I'm going to ask those of you who are watching with me today, and those of you who may be watching this on replay, to sow a significant seed today to help support the work and the reach of this platform. You can use any of the financial devices that you see on your screen right now. Our PayPal, our Zelle, our CashApp, and Venmo are on the screen. Whatever the size of your gift is, we will appreciate, but I'm asking you to do something significant today. Now, I know that's a relative term, so what's significant to one may not be significant to another. But whatever that engenders within your mind when you hear the term significant, that's the seed that I want you to sow. Okay? Whatever number came to mind, whatever amount came to mind when you heard me say, I want you and desire of you and ask of you to sow a significant seed, that's what I want you to sow. That number. Yeah, a number immediately came to mind. It immediately came to mind to you when I said significant. So what that means to you, that's what I want you to sow. Do it now while you have your device in your hand before we go off the air, or you can do it later if you need to sit down and do some calculation. But do so. And whatever you give, I will appreciate. Partners, don't forget your responsibilities. I'm not going to enumerate them here, but you know what we ask of you and what you have committed yourself to do. Okay? Thank you all for tuning in. It was such a wonderful experience being able to share with you, and I look forward to sharing with you again on the next Emerge Empowerment Session. Have a wonderful day.
Some of you are even afraid to dream, afraid to imagine. But I'm here to tell you that you are an infinite, limitless, boundless being. Are you willing to do what is necessary to have what you desire?
You've been listening to Apostle Isaac Miles, the disruptive innovator, a mentor, an author, a motivational speaker, an entrepreneur, and the founder and spiritual director at emergelec Life Enrichment Center. Please take a minute to subscribe, like, and share this page. If you'd like to become a partner, you can do so by emailing us at emerge.lifecenter@gmail.com. Again, that's emerge.lifecenter@gmail.com. Once again, thank you for watching.